Very wise decision you made to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. As always, coming to you from our outstanding studios that First Star Logistics provides for us, and we can't thank them enough because, boy, going to meet new Bengals tight end Mike Gesicki, and this guy can play tight end. He can play really slot receiver, other receiver spots. He's done that in his 7-year NFL career. He's 6'6", 240, 245 pounds, and he can run. Runs good routes. He's got really good hands. Second-round draft pick, originally out of Penn State. Second tight end taken in that respective draft. I mean, a lot of high expectations, I think, for Mike Gesicki. And he's excited to work with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's excited to work with him. We talked to him about what a versatile athlete he was in high school: volleyball, basketball, football. His Penn State career. His career in the National Football League, what he's going to bring to the Bengals, what the Bengals are going to bring to his career. Very interesting conversation with Bengals tight end Mike Gesicki. I know you have a lot of options out there what to do with your free time. We certainly do appreciate you joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, with some of that free time. And we are in our incredible studios, brand new building. It's second to none what First Star Logistics provides for us, and we are very, very thankful for the opportunity, and thankful for the opportunity to have the guest that we have joining us right now, Mike Gesicki with the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, this guy, you talk about an athlete. I'm looking at some of your high school. You set records in scoring for the basketball team, 1,866 points. You had 103 catches, 1,817 yards receiving, and volleyball player, 519 blocks for the volleyball team. I mean, you go to Penn State, and all you do at Penn State is set the school record for receptions by a tight end, and then you get drafted in the second round by the Miami Dolphins, and the second tight end selected in that draft. 6'6", what, Mike, 245 pounds, something like that. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals are excited. Bengals are excited, man. You excited to be a Bengal?
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. It's been a fun transition, and one that I was super excited about, and am still really excited about.
I mean, there's no question that Joe Burrow is going to love you. I mean, you're going to look like the Empire State Building out there in the middle of a football field for him at 6'6", and your ability to run routes and catch a football. Are you guys already setting some trust, timing, rhythm, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think that's up to me to go out there and earn his trust and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, of a guy as successful and talented as him, that's my number one goal, is just to go out there and, when given the opportunity, to make any play possible when that opportunity presents itself.
You're a talented enough receiver that there's an opening slot receiver position. Tyler Boyd moving on, and there's some snaps there, some opportunities there, some plays to be made there. Mike Gesicki can play some of that slot receiver. There's no question about it. I mean, you're excited about that chance to go show what you can do in the slot?
Yeah, it's been something that, I've had success with that in my career. But, ultimately, you got to go out there and, earn it every single day. And I think, I have a lot of trust in the coaches that are going to, understand our team's personnel and, put everybody in position to be successful. So, we got a lot of talent in the receiver room, and a lot of talented tight ends and running backs that can catch the football. So there's definitely, there's a surplus of talent in our locker room on the offensive side of the football for what we're speaking about right now.
Yeah, it really is. It is amazing. I mean, and then look at the offensive line. I mean, if you're not 6'8" and 350 pounds plus, you can't play tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's like it's the new Cincinnati skyline here. That group of guys. You've got some familiarity with Trent Brown, I assume, and he's been added to the mix at the tackle position, and first round pick is in the mix now. Mims at the tackle position. Orlando Brown. I mean, man, that's a big offensive line, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And it doesn't just stop with the tackles.
Right.
the guards, the center. I mean, everybody's been, awesome in terms of, their physicality and all that kind of stuff in their careers, showing and displaying, that size on the football field. So it's definitely, an offensive line that is going to be able to open up lanes in the run game and then be able to protect, the talent that we have in the quarterback room.
James Gesicki, the Bengals tight end coach, played tight end in the National Football League. To have a coach that actually played the position that, when he speaks, he's like, I kind of experienced a lot of the same things you guys are going through. And how big is that? How big of a plus do you think that might be?
Yeah, I think it's huge to have a position coach that played 7 years in the league, and he understands how guys want to be coached. He understands how to get his message across to guys, and he also understands the game because he's played it and he's seen it and he's done it, and he's not far removed from it. So it's super cool to have that experience and to have a tight end coach like James.
So you've been in the league with a couple of different teams. This is your third different team. You've been exposed to different offenses and ways of doing things, but there's a lot of similarities in concepts in the National Football League. A lot of the concepts here are probably not foreign to you. What do you think so far? Do you like the way they're the concepts that they have and how they're starting to try to put them together?
Yeah, I do. It's been awesome. And so, I was in Miami for 5 years, but I had 3 different head coaches, 5 different coordinators. I was in New England. Obviously, that's another year that I was there with a different, head coach and a new coordinator. And now I'm here with another new head coach, new coordinator. So, this is my 7th year, and this is my 7th offense, 7th different coordinator. So,
Wow.
I've seen a lot of these offenses. I've been in, a lot of different systems. At the end of the day, football is football for the most part. And you're just kind of changing some language and some verbiage and things like that, what you call this concept and that. But I think the things that these coaches do really well is put people in position to be successful, and that's understanding everybody's strengths and putting them in position to use those to the best of their ability to help the team, which is exciting for myself, and I'm sure everybody else on the offense side of the ball.
I've had teammates that they came from another organization, like you say. The concepts aren't foreign, but the terminology and the language and all that. It's like you're in Germany, you're speaking French. You have to unlearn and relearn, right? And I can't imagine the number of times you had to unlearn and relearn what you call this, what you call that. How challenging has that been?
At first, it was challenging, but now I think it's more beneficial than anything because, you've just seen so much and have been able to comprehend so much that now it's, we put in a new play here and, oh, yeah, okay, I've done that before, and, I'm not going to, say I've been doing this for a really long time, but 7 years in the National Football League is, considered, a decent amount of time. So
Right.
it's been fun. It's been really cool to adapt, I think is the biggest thing, being able to adapt to some of the changes. And I think it's only been beneficial for my career and the learning curves and all that kind of stuff.
I know James Gesicki as a coach is all about details, man. He is he dots every I, crosses every T, and he is a very, very excellent teacher of blocking, how to block effectively. Have you found that to be the case? And how much are you looking forward to working with him in that aspect of your game?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously, James is, going to be able to help me in terms of routes and, how to, attack different leverages and prepare me for, what defenses are going to, show us and all that kind of stuff and give me a plan on my routes and the pass game stuff. But I'm really excited to attack the run game. It's something that I haven't really been given the opportunity to do so in my career for the longest time. When I was in, Miami, I was really just playing receiver because of injuries into the receiver room and, just next man up mentality. It was like, hey, Mike, can you play, can you fill in and play, this position at Z, or, can we put you at X? And all right, yeah, sure. Why not? Like, and so for the longest time, it hasn't really been like, hey, Mike, get in the 3-point stance and, go block this defensive end. And I'm excited to be able to, add another thing to my resume. And I think that James is the perfect guy to help me with that.
You've had a relationship and worked with a lot of quarterbacks during your NFL career already. Here you get an opportunity to work with number 9, pretty good one, man, Joe Burrow. This guy, mentally and physically, is as good as there is, really. I mean, he's got to be a joy to work with.
Yeah, I mean, he's been incredible. From the day that I signed to throughout the offseason program. I mean, he's just been first class. So it's been awesome to be able to kind of build that chemistry and that relationship. And it's one that I'm looking forward to continuing to expand on that. So as we get into training camp and real football and and then ultimately games and just making the most of my opportunities to continue to build that trust and ultimately get more opportunities.
During the course of your playing career at all 3 levels, I mean, was there a tight end or more than one tight end that you're like, man, I really like this guy, watching him on tape? Did you have a favorite, or were there multiple guys that you tried to emulate?
To be honest with you, I never really sat down and said I want to watch this guy and be like, and I mean, there's so many talented tight ends out there. But I would say, one of my favorite things is, going throughout, game planning and, watching the tape from the previous week and, seeing how guys are running routes and seeing, how guys are attacking, leverage and, running on safeties and, just that kind of stuff. And then I'll kind of pick some stuff up from there. And that's one of my favorite, parts of, watching tape and watching film and trying to, take something from this guy's game, or, hey man, that worked, or all right, he tried that didn't work. And I think that's been something that I've done in my career.
Now you're finishing up the mandatory mini camp. It's the conclusion of OTAs, you organize team activities. Then you get to get away for a little while, get away for a few weeks. Then you come back to training camp. But what are you going to do in that time frame? Are you a travel guy, or what are you thinking? I mean, I know you're still going to work hard. You don't want to lose the edge that you got physically and mentally, but what do you get? Any plans in that regard?
I am a travel guy. So, I mean, this is kind of like the last little break before you're in it. Once you're in it, man, you're rolling until February.
Right.
So it's a break that, everybody kind of looks forward to. And, once minicamp ends, go back to New Jersey for a little bit. Going on vacation to Aruba with my family and my wife and
nice.
All that. So we'll go out there and kind of get some sun, get on the beach, all that kind of stuff, and relax a little bit. And then really, once you get back and July hits, then it's time to roll.
Have you been to Aruba before?
Never been before. I've been down in the Caribbean and a couple of different islands down there, but never been to Aruba.
Went there with my wife. Highly recommend it. You're going to have a blast, man.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of sun, get in the ocean, maybe, find one of those casinos down there, enjoy that for a little bit. But now it'd be good.
So are you up for your life in the casinos? I mean, are you plus? Are you ahead of the game?
Let's just say I've had fun, and that's,
I hear you.
I've paid the price of having fun, playing blackjack.
Yeah, it is. It's good entertainment, man. There's no question about that.
No doubt.
During this time frame, the time you spend in organized team activities and mini camps and so forth, not just the physical part of it, but the chemistry part of it, building that chemistry with your teammates is also important. I mean, the Bengals have gone to the Super Bowl 3 times as an organization. I went to one of them as a player and covered the other 2 teams from a broadcast standpoint. And without exception, it's like, what comes first, chemistry or wins? The chicken or the egg, which comes first? I just know you have to have both. I mean, and it doesn't really matter what, and it starts like with these kind of things. I remember the team I played on, the 2 teams that I watched and covered that went to the Super Bowl, they had tremendous chemistry, and everybody was, had each other's backs, and it all started. It's not when the season starts. It's what's going on in the off season. How are you guys working together in the off season, the build up to the regular season? If you wait till training camp, man, it's too late, isn't it?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I mean, the best teams that I've been on, dating all the way back to, college or, high school, and in any aspect of sports, are the closest teams. And, the teams that all the guys are, you don't got to be best friends with everybody, but the guys that are, close with each other, and you're going out to dinners, you're hanging out outside the facility, you're eating lunch with everybody, all that kind of stuff. And those have always been the best teams that I've been on. And I see a lot of that here, which is exciting, and it's cool to, have that chemistry.
And it seems like with this group, as I, kind of observe it from the outside, it seems like it's not just, position group cliques, I mean, everybody is, commingling it. And that's what you have to have, not offensive guys, defense. It's the team, it's the whole group getting together in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not the whole group, but a mix of guys doing things together. That's when, 1 + 1 starts to equal 3 instead of just 2, right?
No doubt, 100%. And I think that's definitely, obviously there's a lot of football stuff that goes into it, but the chemistry and that connection definitely plays a role too.
So I mentioned some of the other sports that you played. I mean, you were a very gifted athlete in high school. I mean, were you as big? When did you hit your growth spurts? Were you always a big guy, or did you have a growth spurt toward the end of your high school career, or how did that work out?
I would say, by the time, I went from like middle school to high school, and my freshman year playing basketball, I was probably like 6'4", and by the time I graduated, I was 6'6". So, I mean, I grew a couple inches throughout high school, but I hit my biggest, growth spurt coming from middle school to high school. And then just played a bunch of sports, man. I was always trying to stay active and do something. And when I wasn't playing sports, I was working out. And I think it's the reason that I became the athlete that I am, just because I didn't focus on one sport. And I did a whole bunch of different stuff to help me in all phases of athleticism.
I think that's a huge thing. I mean, I hear all these coaches now telling their kids, look, I want you to focus on this sport only, or maybe one other. Man, I'll tell you, I mean, I played, like 4 or 5 different sports in high school. And a lot of my teammates did too. I mean, and it gives you, overall body awareness. You're working on muscle groups, you're working on coordination, you're working on different things that, I mean, the more you can do athletically, the better off you are. I totally disagree with this. Man, you got to focus on one sport and get as great as you can at it. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that at that level,
Right.
I think at that level, you're still growing into your body, and you're figuring out how to become a better athlete. And I think the best way to become a better athlete is to, play multiple sports and, be athletic. Like if I would have just focused on football or just focused on basketball, I don't think, it would have translated as well as, it did ultimately when I, just stuck with football by the time I got to college. Because then at that point, you're not that your athleticism's peaked, but like, you've figured it out, athletically, and what you can and cannot do and what you need to get better at. And then there's a lot of, technical stuff in terms of your position and what you need to get better at, depending on whatever sport you play.
I played college football at Syracuse, and it was independent then. Everybody's independent, but we played Penn State every year. That was one of our big rivalries. Joe Paterno, Joe Pa, man, he had Penn State on a roll. I mean, gosh, Penn State was, I mean, in top 10 every year when we played Penn State. It's been a great program for a long time. And Coach Franklin doing a hell of a job there in that tradition. What other schools were you considering?
Ironically, a school not too far from here. I headed down to Penn State and Ohio State. I visited Columbus multiple times, and it was a close decision, to be honest. But then I visited Penn State when they played Michigan for the 4 overtime whiteout game that they ended up winning, and that was kind of my selling point.
Wow. I tell you, boy, I bet the coaches were like, "Oh man, this is
right. Yeah, this is a good game to have a lot of recruits at."
No doubt about it. No question,
Mm-hmm.
man. So from a sophistication standpoint, the Bengals offense, is it simple? Is it sophisticated? Is the beauty of it that it's so simple but can be sophisticated? What is it about the Cincinnati Bengals offense that you like?
I wouldn't say either or. I would just say that the coaches do a really good job of making it simple. The way that they install it, the way that they give you little tricks to kind of understand and comprehend everything, and they do a really good job of preparing everybody throughout the offseason. So it's been really cool to whether it be Coach Taylor, whether it be Coach Casey, or Coach Pitch, like whoever's up there, whoever's getting their message across, they do a really good job of getting that message to stick, and then the guys taking it out to the field.
You've worked against a lot of different defenses, a lot of different schemes, a lot of different ideas. What do you see when you're working against the Bengals defense, not only from a configuration and schematic standpoint, but from a personnel standpoint?
Yeah, I think definitely a lot of talent, first and foremost. For me personally, just dealing with the two edge guys with Sam and Trey, and then working to the second level with Jermaine and Logan, and then the shell of the coverage in the secondary. Getting Vaughn back here after a year away. I mean, it's been really cool to go up against these guys, and now be able to have conversation with them. What they think. So it's been really cool, and a lot of talent. And I think that starts with Lou, and how he calls the defense, and all the different things that he puts his guys in position to be successful at. So I think it's the same thing that we deal with on the offense side of the football. I think he does a great job, and that whole defensive staff does a great job, getting that message across, and getting the guys to buy in and then play for them.
The other common denominator between the successful teams that I've seen in the Bengals organization over the years is, you don't have to have the word captain after your name to be a leader. I mean, you can only be so many captains.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to have just one offensive, one defensive captain, one leader. And that's the thing I see with this football team. And I saw with the one that I played on and the two that I've covered. I mean, there were, a myriad of guys that could have been a captain, and you can only pick a couple. But, I mean, there are 2, 3 at every position group. I mean, it's just like, man, these guys were just not great football players, but just really, really solid people and leaders, natural born leader types. You guys have a lot of those in that locker room too, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Guys that have played in big games, guys that have experience in the league, and then guys that are leading by example or leading vocally. It's been really cool to now that I've been in a couple of different locker rooms to kind of see this one, and I'm happy to be here. I'm really excited about the season. I think that there's a lot to be excited about. Obviously, you don't want to get look too far ahead, but I think that there's a lot to be excited about in Cincinnati.
I know everybody's in great shape right now, just finishing the mandatory mini camp and everything. You can't let it get away in that month and a half of free time. Do you have somebody that you work out with? Do you are you solo? Do you have a trainer? Do you work out with other players? How do you handle that aspect of it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this now for 7 years. I think I have a pretty good routine, and I know what I need to do to
Right.
to get ready for training camp. I do a lot of the stuff on my own. I have a jugs machine at my house that so I'm catching footballs. From my wife will shoot them, and I mean we're just back there. I'm catching, throwing it back to her, and try to get 200 catches in, and just to have that repetition over and over and again to be ready, because I'll catch thousands and thousands of footballs practicing, and then you only get sometimes 1 to 5 or 6 chances in a game. So
Right.
got to make the most of it.
So, man, that's a lot of reps. That eye-hand coordination is pretty darn strong. Is your wife a good athlete? Can she catch when you throw it back to her? She handle it pretty well.
She has developed into a really good one. So I'm proud of her and her commitment and development to it. So it's been a couple years in the making, but she's an incredible jugs machine partner now.
That's awesome. That's really that's strong. So, I mean, tell us a little bit about your family, Mike. I mean, brothers, sisters. You come from a family of athletes.
Yeah, grew up in New Jersey. My parents, both athletes in high school, and then I have two older sisters who played basketball and volleyball. It's kind of how I got into both sports, but really how I got into volleyball. My dad coached all the time, coaching them, just as when younger years, and when he would take them to practice, I would just follow along. And so I was always around sports and in all different aspects of the game, and give a lot of credit to my family for raising me the way that they did, and it's kind of gotten me to where I am today, and to continue on that. I mean, just now I've been married now for 2 years to my wife. Met her at Penn State, and I mean she's been incredible in all aspects of a relationship, dating all the way back to the time we started dating, about halfway through college, my sophomore year at Penn State, and just supporting me in all different aspects of this crazy journey, because it's really what it is. It is a crazy journey, and she's found purpose for herself and doing her own job and being able to kind of juggle the lifestyle with her job. So I give her a lot of credit, and yeah, I mean, I'm really lucky. I'm blessed to have the support and the circle that I have, because without them, I wouldn't be here for sure.
Man, it is a crazy journey. You're right, and to have a wife that's the home front is so stable, to go into the stability, and exactly what you're looking at when you go home on a day-to-day, night-to-night basis. Man, there's nothing better than that.
No doubt.
That makes for long careers.
Yeah, absolutely.
No question. So, both sisters older? Were you the youngest of the three?
Yeah. Both sisters older than me, and because I was the baby in the family, my mom took care of me for sure, as I'm sure every youngest child out there knows. And she was unbelievable, and in terms of whatever I needed at a sporting event, or getting me to and from practice, or getting food to school, or anything like that. I mean, unbelievable support system, and two older sisters. Lucky to have both of them as well. Great relationships with them, and like I said, can't say enough about my entire circle with my family and my wife and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's nothing better than that, and it's almost like you had three moms, two older sisters and a mom. That's I'm sure
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure you're fighting for your life at some point there.
No doubt.
It's great. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, when you think of it, both your sister's athletes, you're an athlete. Same thing. I've got two brothers and a sister, and everybody was athletes. And you think the sacrifices your parents made, like you're talking about, just to get you everywhere.
Yep.
It's man.
Yeah. When you're a kid, you don't really realize it as much. But now, looking back, there's a lot of time, commitment, dedication, travel, all that kind of stuff that goes into it, that you have a much greater appreciation for now. And I'm not even a parent yet, but I'm sure once you go through that, then you look back and you're like, holy cow, man, that's a lot of appreciation that they deserve.
You're going to be a great parent because, man, you had a great example. There is no question about that. Are you a goal-oriented guy, Mike? I mean, I know there's always team goals. Everybody wants to get to the Super Bowl, obviously, but there are intermediate goals along the way for the team, and even individually. Are you a guy that has pie in the sky goals, or do you have like intermediate goals? How do you approach it on a season by season basis?
Yeah, I mean, without sounding too cliche, really just kind of like taking it day by day, because before you start thinking about the season, you got to have a good camp, and then once camp ends, then you got to start to just build on a daily basis that then turns into making plays on Sunday. So obviously, everybody has goals of winning a bunch of games and making a bunch of plays and all that kind of stuff, and I think that goes without saying. But the first thing is just just kind of taking it day by day, and keeping the main thing and focusing on the daily process.
Mike, I think I've kept you longer than I that I intended. I think I kept you longer than I said I would, I believe. But
No, you're good.
you're great. I mean, it was enjoyable, and you've got something to say and say it oh so well, my man. You're very educated man, very smart guy. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to this upcoming season.
Yeah, I know Bengaldom, the Cincinnati Bengals fans are excited about what Mike Gesicki is going to bring to the club. It's going to be a lot of fun. Have a great rest of the offseason, and we look forward to catching up in training camp.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.